Picture this: I'm sitting on the front steps of my old family cabin, the kind of place that smells like wood and feels like a warm hug from long ago. When this shiny black big car comes rolling up, making loud sounds on the rocks like it's bringing someone super important, but it's just Linda Hawthorne, the boss lady of the Pineview Shores neighborhood group, ready to boss me around because of my mailbox. Yeah, it's my mailbox. A dented metal thing my grandpa put up way back in 1968, and it didn't look fancy enough for her perfect neighborhood dream. That's what started it all, folks, the moment Linda decided I was her special problem, a messy guy in her perfect world, until she called the police on me, thinking she could scare me away, only to find out my family has lived in this town way longer than her whole fancy neighborhood. So get some coffee, sit down, and let me tell you how this fight went from silly to like a crazy movie. I'm Jake Carver. My family has lived at this awesome spot on Willow Lake for 3 generations. My great-grandpa, who drew maps and loved poetry, bought half the town way back when it was just trees and big dreams. Hundreds of acres of woods, creeks, and this lake that shines like it's hiding magic. He didn't build fancy houses. He built something to last, passing down land that my dad and I still take care of quietly. No big fuss. The cabin is my hideout. A log house older than Pineview Shores, and I don't have to follow their rules because it was here before their round streets were even an idea in some builder's mind. But Linda, she didn't care about the old days. She cared about being in charge. Linda Hawthorne was a real character. Think workout pants that cost more than my truck, short haircut sharp enough to cut paper, and a voice that could make a big bird jump. She ran Pine View like it was her own kingdom, her big car driving around the streets, clipboard in hand, ready to give tickets to anyone who dared plant flowers. She didn't like I'd heard stories at the fishing store, people too scared to hang a wind chime without asking her first. Me, I wasn't part of her neighborhood group, and that made her crazy. My cabin, with its old looks and freestyle, was like giving her the finger to her perfect dreams. It started small. I was fixing a loose window cover one fall day, the lake making soft sounds behind me, when Linda's car stopped really fast. "Excuse me, Mr. Carver," she says, walking up like she's about to arrest me. "All outside changes need the building committee to say yes." I just looked at her, hammer in hand. "Linda, it's a window cover. It's the same window cover, just nailed back on." She looks at it like it's a bad thing. "The wood looks too old. It messes up the pretty look." Pretty look? I almost laughed. "It's been here since Mike Nixon was president, Linda. It's fine." She made an angry sound, wrote something on her clipboard, and drove away fast. I thought that was it, a one-time thing from a nosy person with too much free time. I was wrong. The notes started coming, stuck under my door or taped to my truck, stuff like flowers by the water that weren't allowed when I pulled some tall grass, or trash can color that didn't match because my can wasn't her chosen shade of light brown. Each one was on fancy paper. Pine View's pictures staring at me like it was the police. I'd laugh, throw them in a drawer, thinking she'd get tired of it. But then the letters got mean special mail to my house in town saying they'd make me pay money for rules that didn't even work on me. One said my old boat tucked under a cover was a left-behind boat, ruining her peaceful lake view. I'm sorry, but since when does a cover mess up peaceful? It wasn't just me she was picking on. Old Mrs. Delaney, who lived down the water, told me Linda made her pay money for bird feeder that was too tall. The woman's 80 years old, feeding birds to feel happy, and Linda's measuring her poles with a ruler. The whole neighborhood was scared of her, too afraid to fight back. But I wasn't afraid, I was mad. And Linda was about to learn that bothering a Carver is like bothering a bear with a family history. It got worse when she tried to claim the lake as hers. One morning I wake up to orange floating balls across my waterfront, a little sign saying, "Pineview people only." I laughed so hard I spilled my coffee. The lake belongs to everyone, controlled by the state, not Linda's neighborhood group. Did she think she could put a fence around water? I took my small boat right through her floating balls, waving at her from the middle of the lake while she stared angrily from her deck, sunglasses practically smoking. That's when I knew this wasn't just about window covers or boats. This was personal. Linda saw my freedom as something scary, a crack in her perfect little kingdom. I decided to fight back for real, and for pretend my family's got this old office in town full of dusty papers, land ownership papers, maps, you name it. I spent a weekend there looking through papers that smelled like old times. Turns out Pineview Shores was built on land My grandpa sold in the 70s with super strong rules to protect the lake and woods the neighborhood. Group's rules, they're just a tiny note compared to our papers. Even better, the road Linda used to bother me. The fancy boat docks she bragged about, those were on permission to use our land. She didn't own the dirt under her feet, and I had the papers. To prove it, I called up Ellie Monroe, a lawyer friend who beats neighborhood group problems for breakfast. She's young, smart, and doesn't get scared easy when. I showed her the papers. Her eyes got bright like a kid on Christmas. Jake, this is amazing. She said Linda's gone way too. Far, those floating balls are against the law. That gate she put on your road, a court case waiting to happen. We sent Linda a stop-it letter, nice, but firm, asking her to remove the floating balls and stop bothering me. I thought that would make her quit. Nope, it made her even madder. Linda's next move was crazy. I show up one weekend to find a metal gate. Across the road, my road locked with a big lock and a sign saying, Pineview land, no trespassing. I just stood. They're amazed this woman had the nerve to block me from my own cabin on my own land with a gate she had no right to put up. I took pictures, called Ellie, and stayed calm. But inside, I was done being nice. Linda wasn't just annoying, she was a bully. And I was ready to change the game. The final straw came on a sunny Saturday. I was up on a hill. We own a beautiful spot looking over the lake and pine. Views, big fancy houses, checking some old pine trees for storm damage. It's my land, my right. But I knew it'd make Linda mad to see me up there free as a bird. Sure enough, I see her car moving below, then her looking glasses shining as she watches me. I wave real friendly like, and that's when she loses it. 20 minutes later, she's racing up the trail on a four-wheeler, hair flying everywhere, screaming, What are you doing on my land, Carver? You're trespassing, spying on my house. I stayed calm, leaning against a tree. Your land, Linda? This hill has been Carver land since 1910. Want to see the paper? Her face turned bright red. You're planning something, some cheap building project to mess up our home values? She was shaking, pointing a finger at my notebook like it was a dangerous weapon. I just shrugged. I'm looking at trees. Linda, you should try. It makes you feel better. That's when she pulled out her phone, called 91111, and started yelling about a mean prowler threatening the neighborhood. I sighed. Bad choice. Linda, the sheriff's helper, showed up fast. 2 guys who looked like they'd rather be fishing. Linda's practically jumping, pointing at me like I'm the worst bad guy ever. Arrest him. He's trespassing. The older helper Sam raises an eyebrow. Sir, what's your story? I hand him a covered with plastic map from my pocket, showing the hill as Carver land. I'm Jake Carver, person in charge of this land, just doing my job. Linda laughs. That's an old map our neighborhood group owns. This Sam looks at it, then looks at her. Ma'am, county records don't lie. You've got proof. This is yours. Right then, Ellie drives up with Tom Grayson, the county map maker, a tough guy who knows every inch of this land. Tom spreads a map on his truck, pointing out lines that make Linda shut up real quick. Pineview stops a half-mile south, he says. This hill, the road, even part of your clubhouse, it's all on Carver permission land. You've been pretty creative with your power, Mrs. Hawthorne. Ellie adds more, showing papers that prove Linda's floating balls gate and tickets were against the law. The younger helper says, Wow, this guy doesn't just own the hill. It's got half the county. It's not true, but the look on Linda's face was priceless. She went from smug to quiet like someone turned her off. The results were great. Word got around, and Pineview's people turned on Linda at an emergency neighborhood group meeting. They kicked her out, waving copies of our papers like battle flags. She sold her house, her car disappeared, and rumor has it she's selling apartments in Nevada now. The new group leader said sorry, tore down the gate, pulled up the floating balls, and even asked to work with me on neighborhood projects like a kid's park open to everyone, not just their special club. My cabin's peaceful again. Just me, the lake, and the pine trees. Looking back, it wasn't just about beating Linda, it was about standing up for what's right for the land my family's taken care of since forever. Linda thought she could bully me away, but she didn't know Carvers don't give up. If you're dealing with a Linda of your own, look into your rights, stay calm, and get a good lawyer. A little waiting goes a long way. So what do you think? Did Linda get what she had coming, or was she just confused? Ever had a fight with a neighborhood group bully? Drop a comment, share your story. I'm listening, and if this story made you feel something, give it a like. Maybe share it with someone fighting Their own backyard battle. Stay true out there, and don't let the Lindas of the world make your light go dim.